You've got a spreadsheet problem. You know the answer exists somewhere in Excel's 500 plus functions. So you do what everyone does, you open Google, type something like Excel formula to find matching value in another sheet, and spend the next 20 minutes reading forum posts from 2014. There's a much faster way now. You just tell AI what you want, in plain English, and it writes the formula for you. Here's the thing about spreadsheet formulas. They're powerful, but they weren't designed for normal humans. VLOOKUP, index match, nested if statements, these read like a foreign language. And even people who've been using Excel for years still get tripped up by the syntax. A misplaced comma or a wrong cell reference, and your whole sheet breaks. According to a survey by Accenture, the average office worker spends about 2.5 hours per week on spreadsheet tasks, and a big chunk of that is just figuring out the right formula. That's over 100 hours a year. AI tools have gotten really good at understanding what you mean and turning that into working formulas. We're talking about tools that live right inside your spreadsheet, no copying and pasting from ChatGPT required. Today I'm covering 3 tools: Sheet AI, Numerous.ai, and good old ChatGPT. Let me show you what each one actually looks like in action. Let's start with Sheet AI. It's a Google Sheets add-on, and the free tier gives you enough to follow along. Say you've got a sales spreadsheet, columns for date, product, region, and revenue. You need a formula that calculates total revenue by region, but only for Q1. Normally, you'd need a SUMIFS formula with multiple criteria. Instead, you highlight your data range, open Sheet AI, and type sum revenue where region is West and date is between January 1st and March 31st. Pause, Sheet AI spits out the exact SUMIFS formula, with the right cell references already filled in. Drop it in, and it works. Now here's where it gets interesting. Say your boss asks you to add a column that categorizes each sale as small, medium, or large based on the dollar amount. You'd normally need a nested if, and if you've ever tried to write one with 3 or 4 conditions, you know how messy that gets. The parentheses alone will make your head spin. With Sheet AI, you just type, if revenue is under 500, label it small. Between 500 and 2,000, medium. Over 2,000, large. Pause, done. Perfect nested if. Took about 10 seconds. I also tried something trickier, a formula that calculates the running average of the last 7 entries for each product separately. That's an average with an offset or a dynamic range. Not easy to write from scratch. Sheet AI nailed it on the first try. The formula was long, probably 80 characters, but it worked perfectly when I verified the numbers manually. Now let's talk about data cleanup, because this is where AI in spreadsheets really shines. Numerous.ai is another add-on, and it handles bulk operations that would normally take you an hour of manual work. Picture this, you've got a customer list with 2,000 rows. Names are all over the place, some are John Smith, some are Smith, John, some have extra spaces. Phone numbers are in 5 different formats. You need this cleaned up by end of day. With Numerous, you write one instruction: standardize this name to first-last format with proper capitalization. Apply it to one cell, verify it looks right, then drag it down all 2,000 rows. It processes the whole column in about 30 seconds. Same thing with phone numbers, format this as XXX, XXXXXX, and it handles all the variations automatically. I threw a column at it where some numbers had dashes, some had dots, some had the country code, some didn't. Numerous cleaned every single one. That would have taken me 45 minutes to do manually with find and replace, and I probably would have missed a few. But here's the one I think saves the most time. You can use ChatGPT directly with your spreadsheet data. Copy your headers and a few sample rows, paste them into ChatGPT, and say, write me a pivot table formula that shows monthly revenue by product category. It'll give you the exact steps, which cells to select, how to configure the rows and columns, and which summary function to use. Pause, For people who've always been intimidated by pivot tables, this is a big deal. And ChatGPT doesn't just write formulas, it explains them. You can say, break down what this formula does step by step, and it'll walk you through each part. That's genuinely useful when you inherit a spreadsheet from someone else and it's full of formulas nobody understands. Paste in the formula, ask what it does, and you'll get a plain English explanation in seconds. I've started doing this every time I open a spreadsheet I didn't build. Alright, let's be straight about what these tools can and can't do. The formula generation is genuinely impressive. For about 80% of common spreadsheet tasks, you'll get a working formula on the first try. But complex financial models, multi-sheet references with dynamic ranges, or formulas that depend on specific business logic, you'll still need to check the output carefully. I tested a scenario where I asked for a weighted average with excluded outliers, and the first attempt missed an edge case. Took a follow-up prompt to get it right. The other thing worth knowing, SheetAI's free plan caps you at around 20 requests per month. Numerous.ai gives you more but charges once you hit volume. If you're using these daily, you're looking at $10 to $15 a month. That's still cheaper than the time you'd spend Googling, but it's not zero. And ChatGPT works fine for one-off formulas, but there's friction in copying data back and forth. The in-sheet tools are faster for real workflow use. One more thing, these tools don't replace understanding what a formula does. If you blindly paste AI-generated formulas into a financial report without checking them, that's on you. Use them to write the formula. Then take 30 seconds to verify the output makes sense. Spot check a few cells against what you'd expect. It's the same as using a calculator, you still need to know if the answer is in the right ballpark. So here's the bottom line. If you use spreadsheets regularly, even a few times a week, an AI formula tool will save you real time. Not change your lifetime, but get home 30 minutes earlier time. And that adds up fast over a year. SheetAI is the easiest starting point for Google Sheets users. It's quick, it's visual, and the free tier is enough to test it properly. Numerous.ai is better for bulk data work, cleaning columns, categorizing rows, anything repetitive. And ChatGPT is the most flexible option if you're already paying for it, especially for one-off problems and formula explanations. If you're on Excel specifically and not Google Sheets, ChatGPT is your best bet right now. The add-on ecosystem for Excel is catching up, but it's not quite as smooth as the Google Sheets options yet. Microsoft's own Copilot in Excel is getting better, but it still requires a Microsoft 365 business subscription. My recommendation, install SheetAI or Numerous.ai today, try it on the next formula you'd normally Google, and see how it feels. Most people don't go back. Pause. If you found this useful, subscribe. We break down practical AI tools every week. No hype, just stuff that actually works. Drop a comment with the spreadsheet formula that's been driving you crazy, and I'll show you how AI handles it.